Welcome to Pro Tips number 82, where today I'll be talking about how you can use both Lansweeper and Tenable together to make both products better. So enriching Lansweeper, enriching Tenable, so that depending on where you work, what your primary platform is, whether if you're a security analyst who works more in Tenable or whether you're somebody from the IT team that works more in Lansweeper, you can use data from the other tool to improve your experience, your work, and do it more efficiently. So we'll take a look at both sides. So I'm going to start with Lansweeper, show you what you can get inside of Lansweeper. Then I'll move on to Tenable, show you what you can get there, so that depending on where you work, you can kind of get a view and a feeling for what you'll get when you enable these workflows that we've built. So starting with the Lansweeper side, as I already mentioned, these are based on workflows. So if I go over to Flow Builder, you can add these workflows in a couple of ways. You can go to Flow Builder and then add a workflow and create from template, where then here you can search for Tenable and get the list there. You could also go to the marketplace itself and do it there, but this is probably the easier way to do it. So what do we actually have workflow-wise? We have basically 4 workflows. We have 2 that enrich data. So we have the enrich assets with Tenable data. So that enriches the Lansweeper assets with Tenable information. And on the other side, then we have the add custom attributes to Tenable. That takes Lansweeper data and puts it into Tenable. Then we have 2 flows that do kind of asset syncing. So it means that they will look up, they will check if an asset already exists in the other platform. If it does not, then it will create that asset with the information that it has. So there's a pull missing assets from Tenable. So if any assets in Lansweeper would be missing, and then push missing assets to Tenable if any assets in Tenable would be missing. These create asset records. Obviously, this won't mean that product will then automatically start scanning it. But this is a way for us to give you an indication that, at least in the other product, give you an indication, hey, there are assets that you are missing, and then you can adjust your discovery configuration so that you can then start putting those assets into your discovery scope as well in that tool. So let's start with the enrichment first. So we will head over to a Lansweeper asset here. And what this automation basically does is just takes information that Tenable has, adds it to the Lansweeper asset record so that you can also have it in Lansweeper. Primarily, this means that we'll pull in things like the risk score. So we have the ACR score, the AES score. We'll also indicate whether that asset is actually managed in Tenable or not. And then if you want more information on that device, that is like specific information that Tenable houses, like the vulnerabilities that are on it and things like that, we have a Tenable URL here that you can use to quickly navigate to Tenable and get the full information that Tenable has on it on the security side of things. But these give you kind of like the high level risk indicators for those assets. Now, obviously, it's great to have this on a asset by asset basis, but you'll likely want this to in a different format to audit it better. That's where the dashboards come in. So we have a Tenable coverage dashboard. So with the data that we have, we can also show you what your coverage is with Tenable, seeing as Lansweeper, preferably Lansweeper is obviously your source of where you have your entire IT infrastructure discovered in Lansweeper. So that means that once we pull in the Tenable data points, we're also able to tell you, hey, your Tenable coverage is X%. And we do that with, we have that in the dashboard. So we have your Tenable coverage. Currently, I've only entered one subnet into my, test demo or my demo environment for Tenable. We have, also a widget here showing me what the managed and unmanaged percentages are so that I know how many of those are really unmanaged, meaning on Tenable, that means that they're not discovered or they've not been scanned in the last 90 days, I believe. And then we have the ACR and AES scores. As always, this is a dynamic thing. So if you wanted to see, like, for example, how many, when I just filter this on Windows 11 Pro, what does that look like? So I don't really have any Tenable coverage when it comes to Windows 11. there. If I go to, let's try server 2022, also nothing. Or if I just wanted to go the other way around and see, okay, what here is really unmanaged, then I can get a better sense of what that is as well. So see that all the unmanaged seem to be here. Workwell automation, that's OT. So 3 OT devices there that are unmanaged. I can also take a look here at the list at the bottom, really, and just see that we have some OT devices. We have virtual machines here, etc. Those are all kind of unmanaged at the moment. So once we have that, we can also use the ACR and the AES risk scores to start filtering our dashboard. So if you wanted to see exactly like how many assets do I have that are above kind of this 6 ACR score, we've got 9 assets. So here are the 9 assets that have a ACR score above 6. And we can combine that with AES as well. Although it would make more sense to start adding this information to, for example, a vulnerability dashboard. So if I open here one of the default vulnerability dashboards that we have, vulnerability management dashboards that we have, where I've added I've duplicated it, edited it to add the ACR score and AES score. That's where I can start combining it with the other vulnerability information that we have. So, for example, if I wanted to make sure that I have just assets where the exploitation, there's a known exploitation in the wild, and then I can combine that with, for example, an AES score above 5. Let's say 550 here. And then we'll be able to see. So now I'm remaining with 8 assets that match that condition. And I can start fine tuning kind of my potential risk better. So I can use risk data points from Lansweeper and also risk data points from Tenable in one dashboard to combine the two and look at it. So that will be, I think, it for the Lansweeper side, or maybe let's stay with Lansweeper for one more moment, because let's cover immediately the importing as well. So if assets get imported, the default flow here is that it will create assets with a Tenable asset type. You will have to create the asset type yourself real quick, but then it will assign it to a Tenable asset type, or you can change that as well if you want to. Again, these workflows, you can use them as they are. And let me just pull missing assets from Tenable. That's the one that we're talking about at the moment. You can use these as are. As always, there's a documentation button here that tells you exactly what you need to know, exactly what you need to do to configure it by default, and I use it as standard, let's say. But you're free to configure this as you like. At the moment, here at the bottom, when we create assets, depending on what information is available in Tenable, we'll select the Tenable asset type, which is one that I manually created. You can set this to whatever you want in theory, but I've set it to a separate asset type so that I can see if assets from Tenable are coming in before they are then rescanned or before they are enriched by Lansweeper. If you have an asset that comes in from Tenable and is then scanned by Lansweeper, we will, with the new reconciliation, we will be able to match it and turn it into a non-Tenable asset type. Lansweeper will automatically change it to an asset type that makes sense according to the kind of Lansweeper asset type terminology or list. Tenable uses a completely different list of asset types. So that's kind of there to just prevent complexity when it comes to mapping asset types, etc. So our reconciliation should take care of all of that once you've imported an asset there. So yeah, covered that these are completely customizable. Follow the instructions if you just want to use them as is. I think that more or less covers it for Tenable here. This dashboard, again, go to our marketplace. We have the workflows here if you wanted to, and it's easier than to just say template. We have the workflows here. We also have dashboards now in our marketplace, so you can grab them. You can grab the dashboards from here as well to use those in your instance too. And then the next thing that we will do is take a look at Tenable. Now for that, I'm just going to use this because it makes it easier for me instead of having to log in, etc. So kind of have a interactive demo here for what you would be able to do in Tenable with this information. So let me open this bigger. There we go. So within Tenable, you have your managed, your unmanaged assets, Lansweeper assets that have never been discovered by Tenable. So the assets that we actually push into Tenable, those will come up as unmanaged assets. Obviously, because they haven't been scanned in the last 90 days, Tenable will see them as unmanaged. Where's my mouse? There it is. So it will also, when it's added to Tenable, we will map it and we will tag it as the source being from Lansweeper. So you'll always be able to see exactly where the device came from, whether it's created by Tenable or whether Lansweeper imported it or put it in there. Going to the managed assets, what do we, when it comes to enriching data, what do we actually do in Tenable itself? At the moment, the workflow is configured to add 3 data points as custom attributes. So we have the Lansweeper URL, as you can see, so you can quickly navigate back to Lansweeper if you need to. We have the Lansweeper asset type, and then we have the Lansweeper domain role. That's obviously just for Windows asset types, but that gives you, that's an example of one of the data points that you could use and add to Tenable to start fine-tuning and improving your usage of Tenable. Tenable by default doesn't have this data. It doesn't know whether something is a domain controller or not. And by adding this context, you can then start using that context in your risk scoring in Tenable. You can use it for your remediation project to do your scoping there. And that all flows through dynamic tags. So when we get here to the dynamic tag, so now I'm just going to quickly filter this list on. I'm just going to filter on all of the assets that have the domain role for the primary domain controller, so that we have a list of all of our primary domain controllers inside of Tenable. And then what I can do once I have this list, I can even use this list to start creating tags from them, dynamic tags from this list. That means that, in the future, any asset that gets added to Tenable that is a primary domain controller would automatically get this tag. And you can start using this in order to actually create kind of like your criticality tiers. This is an example where I create a tier 0 criticality. That means that every asset that is licensed, that the type is equal to a host, and that has a domain role, a Lansweeper domain role, where the domain role is primary domain controller, that is a tier 0 asset, tier 0 asset criticality. I can then start using that dynamic tag, because dynamic tags are used in these exposure response initiatives, for example, to do scoping. I can start using that to then scope my initiative here, my exposure initiative or exposure response initiative. I can use that in remediation project as well. You can also use that in asset criticality scores, your custom asset criticality scores, and so on. So tags are super, like these dynamic tags and tags in general are super important in Tenable. And being able to add additional information to Tenable that allows you to create new tags to improve your current dynamic tags that you have adds huge amount of value as you can improve the accuracy of what your Tenable instance is doing. And this just goes back to the dashboard. So let's close that. There. So that is more or less it for this. So take a look at the, be very, very interested to see how this works for people. If it works well for people, try out the workflows, try out the dashboard as well. That should be live soon as well on the marketplace. So you can grab that as well. And hopefully this helps you or your security team, depending on which profile starts using it, or hopefully both. Hopefully it helps you to get some better insights and start managing your Tenable coverage a bit better, or on the Tenable side, allows you to fine-tune your dynamic tags, allows you to improve your processes that are there inside of Tenable to get more accurate data inside of Tenable as well. So that'll be it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.